Okay, so today we're going to be discussing buying and selling during the holiday season. It is a topic that is a hot one, and we did this last year, we did it the year before that, but I like to do it every year because guess what, guys? Every year is different, and every holiday season is a little bit different than the rest. This is Laricy Live, and I'm your host, Matt Laricy, giving you unfiltered access to the world of real estate. We cover market trends, news, and give you the honest answers that will keep you ahead of the real estate game. This holiday season is going to be a little bit different than last year's, and I want to kind of go into what you should do if you're looking to buy or sell during these times. So we're going to get into some questions. What can one expect for Chicago real estate in the 2022 holiday season? Well, it's kind of hard to tell because the rates have jumped up a lot. The economy is taking a nosedive, and a lot of people are thinking doom and gloom. But I actually think the downtown markets will perform pretty well because I do think a lot of people are relocating due to work. And I think with the pandemic kind of slowing down a little bit, that people are believing in cities more. And I think the city looks pretty awesome, lit up with Christmas lights. And I think that's going to make people want to buy some in-towns as well. So I do think we're going to have a decent holiday season. How will this year be different than holiday season in the past few years? Well, the past few years, nothing was open. We were on lockdown in 2020, and then 2021, we were in like a semi-lockdown, and you had to wear a mask everywhere. Nobody wanted to go anywhere. So I'd say that I think this is going to be looking up. I think a lot of people are going to be catching up on Christmas season. I think a lot more people are coming to Chicago to visit family. I think a lot of people out of state that haven't come to Chicago are going to come here to visit, and that's going to make people fall back in love with the city. So I think it's going to be a much stronger holiday season than the past two. Do deals actually close on the holidays? Yes, they do. They don't close on like Christmas or Thanksgiving itself, but they will close on Christmas Eve or the day after Christmas. Same with the day before Thanksgiving. People typically don't close the day after Thanksgiving, but I've had it happen before. And guess what, guys? Every year in my entire career, I have closed at least, I've sold at least one property on Christmas Day. Every year, and every year I've sold a place on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and Thanksgiving. So it does happen. There's a lot of people who aren't doing it. Here's the thing, guys. A lot of people aren't doing anything. Like, right, if you're Chinese, you don't celebrate Christmas. Like, you got nothing to do that day. And, like, work is dead. So what are you going to do? You're going to go online. You're going to look at stuff. You're going to call me nonstop. I will tell you there's 2 days of the week. 2 days of the year. Well, I will answer my phone, and I will be semi-intoxicated cooking. And I'm completely okay with it. And that's Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. So if you call me on Thanksgiving or Christmas Day to negotiate a deal, I'm going to have a couple bottles of wine to me. And you know what? It's damn holidays. I like to cook and I like to drink wine. Those are my two favorite days to do it. So be it. But I do negotiate deals with a couple bottles of me every single year on those days. Is it worth to list a new property during the holiday months? I think it's completely relative to what you're selling, right? You're selling a $3 million house, single family, and the market's soft. I'd probably leave it in the pockets. You're selling a one bedroom for $200,000 and there's no other one bedrooms on the market. I think it's worth doing. Again, everything is relative. If it's brand new, I need to know what type of property it is and if it's worth doing or not. What types of sellers should remove their properties from the market for a break during the holiday season? Anybody that's been on the market for over 100 days. Okay. Now, let me back it up. Most people who've been on the market for over 100 days. Now, here's the thing, guys. You're going to remove your property, but guess what? So is everybody else. And I hate to break it to you, but there are still sales in November, December. In fact, I usually have more sales in December than I do in August every year. So the reality is, like, people will still buy, but like, I think market time will matter heading into 2023. So if you've been on the market for over 100 days, our traffic's been terrible. We're getting nobody interested. Everybody says we're overpriced. I'm going to recommend my clients to take their properties off the market, put it into the pockets. Okay. So they sit in the pockets. So if somebody's really searching, they could go on, private MLS, TAN, or Zenlist, and they can find it there. And then 91 days later, I'll go back on the market. Now, on the 92nd day is when you go live. You have to be off the MLS for 91 days. Once you can do that, on the 92nd day, you show up on the MLS, you look as brand new. Every website will think you're a brand spanking new listing. What technically counts as the holiday season, in your opinion? I honestly think like starting the second week of November is when holiday season starts, but I start telling my people what to do by the end of October. Because by like the third week of October, we kind of know where we stand. And if we want to be off the market in 91, 92 days, the best time to sell is mid-January to the end of to the end of April. So I want to be able to catch that win. So a lot of people I'm going to be recommending remove the property by mid-October. But yeah, holiday season really starts right there in November. What does the fall push end and the holiday season start? Mid-October. I think the fall push mid to end of October is when it ends. And that's when we're going to start seeing like a little bit of that holiday season. What pricing trends can we expect during the holidays? They go down. There's not that many, although it's happened to me before. There's not that many multiple bids during the holidays. I have had multiple bids on New Year's Eve, and I've had multiple bids on Thanksgiving itself. But it's rare that you see a big price increase. Typically speaking, people selling at the end of the year are pricing it at or below market value. Are holidays the best time to get a deal? Yeah. You're going to get a good deal towards the end of the year because a lot of sellers are fearful. Buyers are buying into the market that the world's ending. And you could play off that fear because there's a little bit more blood in the water and you'll get a better deal, okay? It's just reality. And for a seller, they're like, well, should I pull the place off the market? And I'm like, well, okay. Well, again, we have to play devil's advocate. If you're going to keep this property off the market and it's vacant for 4 months and it costs you $4,000 a month and you lose $16,000 no matter what by going back on the market, but you sell it for $10,000 less today than you would in the spring, it's like, well, you're still up $6,000 because there's these things called overhead costs. That's all we say. It's I can't just generally say what I would do or I wouldn't do. It's all relative to what you're doing with the property, how much it's costing you a month, et cetera, and then what we think we could get in the spring compared to now. It's all relative. And if you're a buyer, take advantage of the fear in the marketplace. Every single fall, I'll say this again, I hate fall buyers and I hate spring sellers. Every fall buyer tells me the world's going to end. Go back to our podcast we shot in the beginning of the year in January. It said deal season is over, okay? Because at this time last year, I told the same thing. I'm going to tell you that I'm going to have a podcast in the beginning of the year talking about how deal season is over, but right now, is you're going to tell me that, rates are really high, the economy is going to drop, we're going to go into recession, unemployment is going to go up, et cetera. And guess what? All of those things are going to happen. But guess what, too? There's still going to be a ton of people buying because if there's high unemployment, okay, and inflation goes up and the economy drops, guess what else happens, guys? Guess. Anybody want to guess out there? I can't hear you. Yep, rents go up. So if rents go up, and the cost of everything else goes up, you may be looking down the barrel and saying, well, listen, it's actually cheaper for me to buy than it is to rent. So next spring is still going to be crazy because there's going to be a lot of people that are being like, well, my rent just went up 25% and I may as well just buy and then worry about refinancing later. Who cares about rates, guys? Like, who gives a shit about a rate? Okay? I tell those people all the time, yeah, it's 7, it could be 8% for all I care. It's not going to stay at 8% for 4 years, okay? When it drops, just refinance. Yeah, you got to pay a little bit more right now. Yes, it's going to cost a little bit more, but guess what? So does everything else cost. Go make money elsewhere. Put all your money in a stock that's bottom and make more money there. When the rates were 3%, you couldn't make any money in the market. You can make a ton of money in the market today. So you just take money from one bucket and put it to another bucket. You're going to lose a little bit more here, and you're going to make a little bit more here. Same thing when the economy is good. Just got to learn how to do it with your cash. Any expectations for your family as a new family of 5? Yeah, we got a new kid here. So we're going to be celebrating the holidays as we normally celebrate it, just with the newborn. Nothing crazy. We're not going to do no trips. We always take a trip between Christmas and New Year's. We do it every year because it's a slow week of the year. Not this year because we got a new addition. How do you prep your brokers for holiday season? It's going to be slow. Every buyer is going to tell you that the world's going to end, and every seller is going to tell you suck and that they want to hire somebody else. And you just have to be able to stand up looking at them and saying, like, listen, the world's not going to end. There's still going to be people buying and selling real estate. And for sellers, going to say, I know I suck, but guess what? So does everybody else because nobody else is doing more sales than me. And if I'm doing the most sales, then it must be the best, and I must know what I'm doing, okay? So the reality is like it sucks. We're going to get fired a lot, too. That's another thing. We're going to get fired a lot by buyers. We're going to get fired a lot by sellers. I hate fourth quarter because you just get crushed. You get shit on all day and told you're a piece of shit and you're no good. And you just have to sit there and take it because I'm in sales and I run a business. So I have to be able to be told that I'm a piece of shit every single day. But guess what? I grew up with a father who was 6'4", 250 pounds. Used to tell it to my face every single day for about, God, what am I, 38 years old? So 38 years of my life. So I could definitely take some stranger telling it to me. So yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It's going to suck. I tell my brokers life's going to suck for the next 3 months. You just got to live with it. Is there less is there less competition in holiday season? Yeah, there's of course there's less competition. There's less buyers, and guess what? In 3 months from now, there's going to be 4 times as much competition. So if you want a deal, if you want to feel like you want to win, buy now. If you're a buyer out there, it's like, well, I think it's going to drop even more next year. I'm telling you right now, we're not in Florida. We're not in Utah. We're not in Idaho, okay? We're not one of the Sunbelt states. They just said that the Sunbelt states are on average going to be going down 30%, but guess what? They went up like 300%, okay? Those areas are going to drop. Chicago went down in value in most parts of the city for people watching this podcast that are following me, okay? So no, you're not going to be in a worse position next year. You're going to be in you're not going to be in a better position next year. You're going to be in a much worse position. Right now, if you want a deal, is the time to buy. Don't look at me. This is what I hate the most, is I had a ton of buyers January to March. And you know who you are if you're watching this. They were telling me, like, I want to be able to get what they got in October, November, December. And I said, well, you weren't buying then. And I said, didn't you think about buying then? And said, well, yeah, but we thought the market was going to get really bad. I'm like, yeah, but now everything is multiple bids in January, February, March. Everything is. But you told me October, November, December that the world's going to end. So if you're watching this podcast, I promise you that you're going to see nothing but multiple bids January, February, March. Do you know how I know this, guys? Go back and look at history of the stats. Look at just big brokers, what they're closing in a month. In January, February, March, us big brokers, we're closing like $30 or $40 million a month, okay? Right now, the top broker, they might close like 20 to 25. Maybe, So in the last 3 months, that's what you see. In the first 3 months, you see people closing, in fact, I think there was one month we closed like $60 million a month, okay? Like, it's a big difference, okay? Big difference. So don't tell me the world's going to end. If you want a deal, do it now. Any Laricy traditions at the office? Yeah, we have 2 holiday parties. We have a Friendsgiving, and where everybody's got to bring a dish. And then we have a Christmas party, and everybody gets to bring their significant other. And I will tell you, the Laricy team, we are the hardest working individuals you will ever meet in your entire life. But that holiday party, I will tell you, I probably missed the workout the next day. It's one of the only days of the year where I won't work out the next day. We may turn it up a little bit there. We may get a little bit drunk. I may not remember the full events of the night before, but we go all out. Are we getting another White Castle stuffing video this year? You're goddamn right we are. And I am wearing that White Castle's sweater for it. And we will be posting that recipe. I'm telling you right now, if you want to be the hit at your party, make White Castle stuffing. Listen, guys, like, everybody gets sauced up on Thanksgiving. What's better than Thanksgiving and when you're drunk other than fast food? And it's really good, elegant fast food, and it takes under 30 minutes to make. So if you're somebody out there that's like, I wonder what I'm going to bring to Thanksgiving and I'm not a good cook, watch my White Castle stuffing recipe. I will promise you, I'll tell you what, if you make White Castle stuffing and you don't like it, send me how much money you spent on the White Castles and I'll give you that money back. That's how much I'm guaranteeing that you're going to like it. That's how much I'm encouraging people to pick up on this tradition. Best appetizers you've ever made during the holidays. Easy. I made these. I found this recipe online, and it was a dill Havana cheese wonton fried pickle. It was out of this world. I made it on Christmas. So you took a dill pickle, you wrapped it in Havana cheese, then you wrapped it in the wonton, and then you deep fry it. Okay, so fried pickles and cheese. I really don't know what else you can do. You take it out, you sprinkle a little bit of salt and pepper on top of it. I made a little bit of a hot sauce hot sauce ranch mixed with it. You stir that together. You put a little bit of paprika in that as well. Stir that up. You dip that pickle in there. I will tell you right now, that appetizer will knock your socks off, and it is as easy as it gets. I'm throwing a cooking show here today. I'm doing a cooking show. That's what I'm doing. I'll tell you right now. You guys want any cooking recipes? I do like to cook. So we can talk. I can do a podcast on cooking and drinking wine if you want any day of the week too. Anyways, here we go. Another question. Can you share a wine list of recommendations for holiday dinners this year? Yeah, I think you should start off Thanksgiving with a nice mimosa and convince your family-in-laws to do it with Dom Perignon so you can be a complete jerk. No, I'm just kidding. You start with mimosas and then you work your way up to some nice wine. I mean, every single Thanksgiving and every single Christmas, we do a wine tasting. So my new tradition is I'm going to do Taste of California Napa wines on Thanksgiving. And then on Christmas, I'm going to do the Taste of Paris. So we're going to do like French region wines. And I pair a nice appetizer with it. So we do the appetizers in this. Now, this year, my wife told me that we have to do the wine tastings the day before. So like Thanksgiving Eve and Christmas Eve, because last year on Christmas Day, we did the wine tasting. We did a taste of Bordeaux, and I opened everything up at 3 o'clock, and by 5:30, every single person at the family was blackout drunk, and nobody remembers eating dinner. And my wife was not drinking, and she just said that it was a terrible, terrible idea for me to get her entire family that drunk off on wine, and why didn't I think that this would happen? And all I said was I was looking to do a fun, good spirit, holiday tradition, Christmas wine tasting. But yes, my suggestion to you guys is don't drink too much the day of. Do it the day before. And pair the wines with what people like, and try to find stuff that you don't normally do. Do something different. So for us, when we do a Napa one, I do a bottle from every region. Like I do one from Yountville, Calistoga, Oakville, Rutherford, all the different regions that they have in Napa, so people could try it, and that way you know which ones you like. And same thing with the Bordeaux. We did, Saint Eustache, Saint Julien, Pauliac, Margaux, etc., so people can understand what left bank is compared to right bank. And then they look at the right banks and they try the Saint Emilion wines and the Pomerols, and they could decide which ones they like. And that's the coolest way to do it. We're getting off topic. We're talking too much about wine. We got to get back to real estate. How do you coach sellers to prep for holiday season? Just know that the market's going to suck. Know that you're probably going to have to reduce price. Know that showings are going to come in waves. But usually the people who do look at properties are more serious buyers. They're more interested in buying it. Is there a rush to buy before the end of the year? There is. There's a lot of people on tax benefits. So we do see a lot of people kind of like storming in and trying to get it and want to get it closed before the end of the year. And we see a lot of sellers who want to offload it due to tax reasons as well before the end of the year. Favorite holiday season closing story ever? It's a true story. I just started dating my wife, and it was Christmas Day. And I was cooking like a ham, and I believe I was doing I was doing ribs. And I got a call from some clients of mine that were from China. They didn't celebrate Christmas, and they wanted to see a place on my property in 1440 Michigan, which I also represented the seller, who were also Chinese. And they weren't celebrating Christmas, and they were out. I forget where they were. They were like out eating brunch or something like that. So I said, listen, I can show the property. So I put the ham and the ribs in the oven, and I got in my car, and I raced downtown, because I was in Palos. I showed the property. They bought it on the site. Like they gave me the price. When I got back to the house, I wrote up the offer on my computer, sent it over to them. They DocuSigned it, sent it off to the seller. Seller agreed to it. They DocuSigned it. And within like a 2.5 hour period, we were under contract all before the ham and the ribs were done. And I still had time to do my sides and get everything else going. So to me, that's my favorite story because it was a double sale. My seller was really nervous that she wasn't going to sell, and these were buyers of mine that I met that were very nice people who've turned into long-term clients. Have referred me a lot of business, and it was like a nice little Christmas miracle, I call it, because especially at that time, I was kind of still just starting off. I think this was like 2009 or 10. So I mean, I wasn't just starting off. I was like 4 or 5 years in the business, but every sale counts. And I still feel every sale counts at this point, but it was just something that we really needed because we were really saving up for our first place, and having that happen on Christmas, I felt like was like a little bit of a miracle. Why list a property during slower part of the year instead of waiting till next year? Because honestly, you may have a property where there's not a lot of inventory, and there are still people buying and selling every single day of the week. So you just never know. It's sales. It's a numbers game. So you're trying to get photos before you decorate for holidays, 100%. If you're going to list, get in touch with your broker now to get all your photos done before holiday season kicks in. What are the advantages of selling your house during the holiday season? Less competition. You have less competition from sellers, and there are still buyers out there. And buyers, it's the same for you. You have less competition with buyers, okay? You're going to be able to sit in the driver's seat. You can wait a day to look at a place. Right now, if you're buying in November, okay, you could walk into a property and say, okay, I like it. And you could go home and you could go to bed and you could wake up the next day and decide if you want to offer on it. In mid-January, you could walk into a place, you're going to see some cocky brokers like, yeah, we have 7 offers, highest and best is due at 7 o'clock. You're like, but it's 6:45. You're like, yeah, you got 15 minutes. That's what's going to happen. You don't believe me? Watch it. Keep this clip so we could play this in mid-January, and I could be like, hey, told you so, because I'm filming this at the end of September, okay? It's not rocket science what happens in the marketplace. Let's see here. Is the market crazy hot again after New Year's this year? 100% it's going to be. It's going to be because guess what? Chicago's the most rent-heavy city in the country. Everybody's leases come due end of March, April, May, first part of June. People come back from holiday. They're juiced up. New year, new me, and they want to buy, okay? I say this 50 times a day. That's why I could say it so quick, because I say it every day, all day, 7 days a week, all year, because people ask me all the time when the best time to sell is. That's when it is. Let's see here. Should you get pictures? No, we said that. Is it harder to show and sell homes in the winter? No, it just kind of sucks because it snows. But I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I'm 38 years old right now. It's the second time I've mentioned my age today. I'm getting old. But when I was a kid, I used to have to walk uphill both ways to get to school, right? No, I'm saying like when I was a kid, there used to be snow all the time during holidays, right? Nowadays, the snow doesn't really kick into January. So like showing doesn't, it just kind of sucks to get to work around like people's schedules a little bit more because a lot of people travel or they got like, like holiday events. But like the reality is like it's easier to show properties in November than it is in February. February sucks. It's like that rain, sleet, snow where it's like below zero and the snow's not sticking, but you get outside of your car and it's just like hitting you in the face and you just want to die because you're so cold. So yeah, I mean, honestly, it's not that much different. Let's see here. What type of homes sell frequently in the back half of the year? Honestly, I sell a lot of luxury stuff. I have more luxury sales in the back half than I do in the front half. I don't know why. Everybody's the opposite. Me personally, I don't know what it is. I don't know if people with deeper pockets find me that or what it is, but I usually get that. And I get a lot more investors. I get a lot more people looking to buy stuff and rent it out at that time of year. Is it still worth doing opens during the holidays? Absolutely. There's a lot of people who are bored. Open houses are great ways to try to get traffic. I mean, listen, it's a good way to get online traffic too. You got nothing to lose by doing it. Have you ever shown a home on Christmas? Talked about that. Thanksgiving. I have shown a property on Thanksgiving as well, only in the morning. And I did sell it. It was out in Palos Heights. It was like one of my first sales ever. I believe that was in 2007 or so. But yes, I did do that. And it just so happens the house was in the neighborhood that my wife lives in. So it was very convenient for me to do it. That was Thanksgiving. That was the only time. Honestly, I've never showed a property on Thanksgiving or Christmas since those two instances. And I will be frank, I probably never will again. I would force a team member to do it. Now that I have kids, I won't do it on the day itself. I will do it the day before, the night before, the day after, etc. But I won't do it on the actual day. I will never do it on Thanksgiving or Christmas itself again. Any big menu changes planned for your personal Thanksgiving? I call it the big show. Big event, whatever you want to call it. We do make up menus for Thanksgiving. I go all out with the wine tastings as we discussed. I change up the appetizers every year. Every year I do 3 different appetizers. So I have not picked out my 3 appetizers yet. They will be coming. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook to see what I end up choosing. I will also showcase me making it. I put on a little bit of a cooking show on Thanksgiving, the big event itself. But those will be my new additions. Biggest holiday mistakes sellers make, overpricing the property during holiday season and then keeping the overpriced property on. It's the biggest one. I get a lot of sellers who keep telling me about like somebody who sold in March and April and want that pricing in November. Will rates continue to be unpredictable for the rest of the year? 100%. Yeah, that's it. We've go back to look at what we've been saying at this time last year. We said, wait till 2022 when you can see rates. It's going to be like a roller coaster. Who knows what's going to happen? Like, this isn't rocket science, guys. You can't have the lowest rates of all time. Now rates are high. They grew at the fastest pace in history and blah, blah, blah. And guess what, guys? Shit's going to happen. Then it's going to go down and then it's going to go back up and et cetera. That's why I say, like, don't be married to a rate. You know what I mean? Like, just buy something you want to buy and refinance later. Which holiday is the slowest in real estate? New Year's Day. New Year's Day is the slowest day of the year. Fun fact, guys, I got married on New Year's Eve because New Year's Eve and New Year's Day are always the slowest time of the year for me personally. So I got married then because everybody celebrates New Year's Day in Chicago, but not everybody celebrates Thanksgiving and not everybody celebrates Christmas, but everybody celebrates New Year's Day. And that's why I travel back. So I always go away from the 26th to the 1st and I come back on the 1st because I could literally not buy internet on the 1st on the airplane for the only time I will ever travel of the year, and I will land, and it'll be like less than like 50 emails in my inbox, which is insane, guys, because I get 2,000 plus emails a day. So like my emails are the slowest, my calls are the slowest. New Year's Day is literally the only day of the year. You start the year off fresh with a day off, by the way. That is a day off every day, every year. So we start off the year with a day off. And that's how we kind of just figure that, or that's why I figure that that holiday is the slowest, because we get the least amount of calls, least amount of deals, etc. But the second, that's a busy day. What are the benefits of buying a home during holiday seasons? You're in the driver's seat, guys. That's it. You're in the driver's seat. So if you're looking to buy or sell during the holidays, it's not a bad idea. There's a lot more to it. A lot of this is going to be relative to your situation. So if you want more advice, feel free to reach out to one of us. And please don't forget to tag us in your holiday meals as well, because we do like to see those. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to Laricy Live.